I'm coming, sir.
Here present. The Permanent Secretary, the Honourable Minister of State of Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Directors and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
No answer.
It is indeed an honor and a privilege to present the 2025 budget of the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment for this distinguished and honorable joint committee. The budget consists of carefully curated projects and programs designed to stimulate economic growth and national development. The projects and programs are focused on fast-tracking the attainment of the renewed hope agenda in the industry, trade and investment sector for the economy. Distinguished senators and honorable members, this ministry remains committed to achieving its vision of promoting economic growth, creating jobs, and generating wealth for all Nigerians by formulating and implementing policies, good regulation, and programs that increase domestic investment and attract foreign direct investment, that boost industrialization and productive jobs, grow trade volume, and facilitate an exponential increase in export and competitiveness to increase much-needed non-oil foreign exchange earnings. With the support of the 10th National Assembly, the continued actualization of programs and policies as developed in the Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, the National Enterprise Development Program, the Trade Policy of Nigeria 2023 to 2027, and the Nigeria Investment Policy 2023 to 2027 will ensure that the ministry is enabled to play its vital role in facilitating the ease of doing business through enhancing productivity and competitiveness of our private sector to foster a substantial increase in investment in the local economy and enhance the industrialization efforts of the government. It is pertinent to mention here that within the framework of the National Development Plan, the Ministry has continued to diligently pursue the following strategic objectives: creation of an enabling environment for the Nigerian industry, trade and investment sector to enhance ease of doing business, implementation of Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan to rapidly enhance industrial capacity and improve competitiveness within the sector, sustained development of the micro, small and medium enterprises sector to achieve industrial development and growth, proactive attraction of domestic and foreign investments and retaining of domestic investments, facilitation of enhanced trade and market access to stimulate investment and encourage patronage of made in Nigeria goods and services. Distinguished senators and honorable members, please permit me to present to the committee the 2023 and 2024 budget performance of the ministry and the 2025 budget proposal. The amount appropriated for the main ministries in 2023 and 2024 and actual receipts for capital development fund, personnel and overhead costs are here outlined. In summary, and I'll just take the headlines, there's a total of 7,023,110,299 naira appropriation. Released was 6,827,756,030 naira comparable. 92% of budget was released, and the entire amount released was utilized. That's for the capital expenditure of 2020. For 2024, capital expenditure overhead personnel for 2024 was 5 billion, circa 5.1 billion, and 100% was released and utilized. For overhead, again, it was just over 900 million, and 100% was released and utilized. For capital expenditure in 2024, 8,304,339,971 naira, of which 3,344,209 naira was released, which speaks to 40% as at now. For the budget proposal for 2025, personnel cost is 4.65 billion. The overhead, 1,455,545,652, which is a slight increase in the overheads, and the personnel cost is based on the staff strength as provided by IPPIS. For capital budget, 3,844,978,433 naira, which is based on the ceiling allocated to the ministry. For revenue generation, our projection for 2025 is 2.4 billion. For internally generated revenue for 2023 and 2024, 1,938,200,000 was the IGR projection. The actual generated was 2,337,177,90.8.68, which was 121% generated and remitted to CRF. In 2024, the projection was 2 billion. The actual generated was 2,154,425,020 naira 52 kobo, which was 108%. And as stated earlier, the projection for 2025 is 2.4 billion. Distinguished senators, honorable members, the budget for the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has been summarized for 2023 and 2024. In line with the 8-point agenda of this administration, and as mandated under point 7 of that 8-point agenda, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is fully committed to working hard with all colleagues and stakeholders to deliver economic acceleration and diversification through industrialization, digitization, creative arts, manufacturing, and innovation, thus ensuring the speedy attainment of the renewed hope agenda of the administration of President Bola Tinubu, GCFR. However, without the continuous support and guidance of our distinguished senators and honorable members, the ministry may not be able to achieve all the desired impact. The ministry's 2025 capital proposal stood at 3.8 billion, which is inadequate to meet the scope of work required to deliver this impact to Nigerians across the nation. As a result, we would appreciate additional funding for our priority capital projects and programs to enable us to expedite some of our projects in line with the objectives clearly articulated in the National Development Plan and the Medium Term Expenditure Framework as presented to the National Assembly by Mr. President. In this regard, it is on this regard that on behalf of the Nigerian people, we continue to request for your invaluable support in delivering on the set objectives of the ministry to enhance the development and growth of the Nigerian economy. I therefore want to most sincerely thank our distinguished senators and honorable members for their unwavering support for the work of this ministry, and as we anticipate the committee's finalization of its 2025 budget. Thank you for your attention, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
In trade activity across 7 northern border states. We at the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment have been particularly concerned about this issue. In fact, because of this, we doubled up on activities in terms of stakeholder engagement and sensitization, on the need for export promotion through other formal means, in addition to informal across the border trade. The loss of foreign exchange and the general suppression in economic activity along there has become a priority for the entire administration. The administration has been taking steps. Indeed, with ECOWAS, discussions we all know have been ongoing and where they've landed. But whether or not countries are members, we're brothers and sisters, and trade must continue. So we continue to activate and stimulate economic activity in that area, and supporting particularly the agriculture value chain with grains production. We work very closely with the Ministry of Agriculture in making sure that the value addition and the transportation and storage, those are some of the programs that we have in our budget that we have to really step up on and make sure that we deliver on them. For this very reason that is also raised. Made in Nigeria goods are what we all must embrace and continue to embrace, but not just with mouth only. The value addition required, and I'll actually hand over to the Honorable Minister of State. We've been working on this, and you know from the agencies also under the ministry, working with small and medium-sized enterprises, vocational training, stakeholder engagement, working on value addition, the regulations that small businesses need to thrive, the single window initiative of this administration, and what that would do for us as a trading nation, really focusing on prioritizing exports of made in Nigeria goods and utilizing African continental free trade area. We continue to use that. So apart from even all our neighbors, not just in the ECOWAS region, but across the continent, Nigeria earlier, around the middle of last year, started exporting under AFCFTA, and Nigerian businesses, we continue to support them through trade fairs, internally, domestically, and abroad, to showcase made in Nigeria products. These are some of the priority initiatives and programs and projects that we have lined up for 2025. In addition to the issue you mentioned around smuggling and standards, market access, and making sure that Nigerian goods can penetrate and standards to meet international markets and regional markets, we continue to prioritize increasing in production, increasing in competitiveness. The administration as a whole has instituted several reforms that have made sure that the worst of the pain is over and Nigerian businesses can now continue to produce, and we continue to support them on productivity and competitiveness with the regulations and legislation that are made available for the Nigerian private sector. Honorable Saleh talked about the IGR and the drop in IGR. This is something that is of concern to the ministry as well. We know that the economy had slowed down, and because of that and the pains of Nigerians, while we still want to really increase our IGR, we're also mindful of increasing our rates at a time when Nigerian businesses are going through a lot. So this is just a reflection of the general economy, and we expect it to be reversed as the economy has already started to pick up. So while that target may seem low, it's just in line with the trends, and we expect to exceed. This is also on the observation. I will hand over to the Permanent Secretary and the DFA are also here to speak to the specifics. Government is a continuum, and the Honourable Minister of State and I take full responsibility. However, we'll also let distinguished senators and honourable members have more details from the civil servants who are actually on ground. Distinguished Senator Adams Oshomole, thank you for the contributions. Always very interesting and stimulating. Rebranding Nigeria is one of the most important activities that this ministry does, both domestically. It's extremely important to us that we retain the investment that is in Nigeria. We don't want any businesses to leave, and the businesses that are on ground, we want to make them comfortable. So we've been doing a lot of activities. We have the Platinum Business Champions program. We have programs directed at small and medium enterprises. We have programs for every cadre of businesses, even nano. We have gender-sensitive programs for women entrepreneurs to make sure that around the country, and that's one thing about this ministry, our work covers every single constituency in this country. We work in rural areas, we work in cities, we work across sectors to make sure that everybody who has some sort of entrepreneurial activity and the consumers of those goods are well taken care of in terms of policies, in terms of regulations, and in terms of promotion of the work that they do from farm to market, all the way to export of our goods. It's a very important one, and thank you for raising that. In terms of data and statistics, we took the feedback. We started thinking about how that program will actually add value to what is exactly on ground with CBN and NBS. So the project you can see is a bit stalled because we're taking time to think of what in addition the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment requires in terms of data. What does Nigeria not have in terms of data? What we know for sure is that Nigeria is competitive in the area of services. Services export data is an area that we're newly capturing. I'm glad that the chair of the Committee on Commerce, the strategy of the Committee on Commerce also speaks to digital exports, and that's an area we've been collaborating on making sure that Nigerian youth can be retrained and they can work on their laptops right from anywhere in the country once they have broadband to do jobs, outsource jobs. They can work on jobs, services jobs in the US. They work on customer care. But we're now scaling up that program, not just customer care, but making sure they work on paralegal services, accounting services. Those are some of the services the Nigerian youth are taking over from other countries. India has been a leader in this area. Philippines has been a leader in this area. But Nigerian youth have a good accent, and our time zone fits into the time zone of Europe especially, and it's quite competitive with the time zone of the US. So more and more companies are coming in to have outsourced businesses domiciled in Nigeria, and those are some of the new data that we'll be capturing, and we're in discussion with CBN and Bureau of Statistics as well to make sure that that export of services component, both within international markets and regional markets, are well covered. Those are some of the areas on which we're competitive. For the welfare packages, there's a lot that is needed in terms of our civil servants. There's the details of the welfare packages, which is in the document, but which I'll also ask the Permanent Secretary to speak to. But it's actually just a fraction of what is needed. For instance, some death benefits. For instance, they're just different things that are just a little token from the government of Nigeria to take care of our workers, and it's just a very little sum. But with the staff strength of the ministry just under 2,000, you can imagine how that pattern spread across. But it's a token to empathize and sympathize with our civil servants. But with that, I'll stop here so that we can have more rounds of questions. But I'll let the Honourable Minister speak and the Permanent Secretary also contribute to this discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Our chairman, distinguished